Okay, guys, so we're in Mexico City, Terminal 2. We've passed through security. I'm actually at the restrooms that are dead center of the terminal. This terminal is shaped like a giant U, and in this video, we're just going to look at the left side of the U mostly, but we're going to start from the bottom center. So on our other videos that I will put out later, we'll look at gate 75, and then we'll look at the right side of the U. But this video is only the left side. And I picked this place because it's the dead center of the U, and we're going to exit now, and I'm going to walk you through that whole left side of this terminal. So up ahead, if you see in just a moment, is the duty-free stores. Now the duty-free stores here do have a lot of nice stuff, but they're very, very expensive. And they charge taxes, which I never understood because it's supposed to be duty-free. I asked them once about it, and they didn't seem to understand the concept of not paying taxes at a duty-free store. So basically, I was going to pay almost 30 or 40% more than if I went to a department store. But they got all kind of stuff: tobacco, liquor, watches, perfume, chocolate, little stuff, typical for Mexico, like little pottery and decorations and stuff. But I would really recommend this as a last resort. If you just got here and you're connecting, don't buy anything here. You're gonna find all this anywhere else in Mexico. And if you're leaving, and unless you really forgot to get everything, then I wouldn't mess with it. All right, here on the left, we've got Subway. Subway always has a giant line, and it's right next to Starbucks. Both of these are probably the most busy locations in this terminal. Subway, this is the line for Subway, and every now and then I'll get it, but the line is always so long, it's just not worth the hassle. Plus, they don't have pepper jack, so I'm big on pepper jack. All right, we're back at the duty-free. They got some little painted skulls. Those aren't even like the real deal. They're actually like mass-produced. And up here, they're going to have some more little souvenirs. They're like little Mexican souvenirs, little sombreros and stuff. This is very, very kind of like touristy kind of stuff. It's not really... I don't want to say it's not authentic because some of the items are, but most of it is not. But you will find a couple authentic items here. But they're very expensive. It's easier to just buy them during your trip. Okay, that's 7-Eleven. There's one in here. If you can, every time you're going to get a drink or even hot dogs or a pastry or something, come here. There's like 2 or 3 convenience stores in this terminal. This is the only one that doesn't rack up the prices to insane quantities. The others don't charge you crazy amounts of money for just a hot dog. This 7-Eleven maintains the same prices as the 7-Elevens that are out in town. So this is always my go-to place if I'm going to get a water, a soda, or hot dogs. It's just the best way to do it. All right here on the left, this place sells beef jerky. There's an eating area there with a lot of chargers. It doesn't matter where you get your food. You can just sit at any of them, or you don't even have to get food. There's a watch store here. I got a bad experience from that watch store. They didn't really validate a warranty. They told me they would, and they sent me to the manufacturer, so I would avoid them if you can. Chilim Balam is Mexican candy mostly. They have some regular candy, but most of it is like spicy Mexican candy. Great souvenir for kids if you're going back to your home country. Over here, there's an elevator. It'll take you to the 3rd floor, which is basically the lounges. If you're a card member and you have access to certain lounges, that's where you would go to wait for your next flight. Sunglass Hut, of course, they're taking over. Go Mexico, they do like travel and stuff for you. If you want to plan like a trip, they'll do it for you. Over here on the left is one of the places where people come out after going through security. There's a couple places here where they do that. That's one of them. So you could have came through here, you could have come through the other one that's on the far side. Yep, that's security. Up ahead is gate 75. I'm going to do a separate video on gate 75 because gate 75 is very weird, and I actually missed a flight there once because of the way they have it set up. Yeah, I'll do a whole separate video on that. But all that is one single gate, supposedly, and I'll explain that in my video about it. But for now, we're going to go and we're going to make a right here in a moment. And I'm going to walk you down the whole left side of the terminal and show you a couple restaurants and show you basically what the gates look like and the screens and where the restrooms are. This is very basic information. If you've already been here, you probably don't need to watch this again. But I mean, it doesn't hurt. Not a lot changes here. The only thing that changes every now and then are the stores. But different stores will leave and new stores will show up every now and then, but that's about it. So we're now headed to the end of the left side of the terminal. And I think it starts at 62 or 61. I'll check in a moment. But basically all the gates here are in the 60s and 70s. There might be some in the 80s. We'll have to check in the next video on the right side. So basically on top that Huawei screen, it gives you all your flight information. It's rarely up to date. It's usually updated, but it's always got like a 30-minute delay. On the left is Pineda Cobalin. Great purses and wallets for women. Everything else is pretty bad. I mean, the jewelry is really bad. The men's stuff is really bad. Don't buy anything for men, not even a tie or anything. They do have some blouses and scarves that are really good, but they're extremely overpriced. But the purses and wallets for women, the ones that are made out of vinyl, I mean, they're great. I got my wife 2 purses and like 3 wallets and some coin purses, and they've lasted forever. That vinyl is really tough. Okay, we're gonna keep going. There's some restrooms here, ladies' restrooms. There's a lot of restrooms at this airport, so that's the good part about it. You can't go more than 100 feet without running into restrooms, so that's really great. There's the men's restrooms right there. On the left, there's going to be random shops selling either Mexican souvenirs and Mexican candy or some pottery or something, or some clothing. So there's a Lacoste store. There was a couple brands we passed, Mexican clothing, that I didn't recognize. There's usually not much, I mean, unless you're just a fan of that clothing. But you got to remember, you're going to pay a lot more than if you went to the regular mall or ordered it online. Okay, so there's more gates. And at least for myself, I always fly to Huatulco usually. I rarely get one of these. Usually the Huatulco flights are at gate 75, and I'll show you guys that in the next video that I do. But this is a huge waiting area. It can get pretty loud at night. I suggest if you do have a long layover, just go outside and go to the Pod Hotel. It's over by the bus station. It's really good. We've done a couple videos on that. There's the Body Shop. This is Aigüe. It's a Mexican clothing brand. I'm not a big fan of it, but a lot of people like it. Scapino. It's like a economic suit store. They sell shirts, suits, pants, ties, stuff like that. There's handbags and jewelry here. Another waiting area, and that's a good thing, is the waiting areas are really huge for each gate. There's not that many gates here, but the waiting areas are massive, so usually you don't get really cramped. They did remove a lot of the phone chargers here, though. There's still a few, but it's not like it used to be. I remember a few years ago there was a lot more phone chargers, so this is probably not the best place to come and try to charge your phone. Another Huawei screen with your flight information, and there's small screens to the right if you can see them. Pizza Bar right there is amazing. They have a lot of pre-made food. They have a lot of pre-made subs and sandwiches and paninis and everything. I mean, the ingredients are awesome. They're fresh. They're making them early in the morning. They got a lot of assorted drinks at the bottom. They use really cool ingredients when they do their mixes. They'll have like smoked turkey with pastrami with like other stuff, or I mean, they don't make your regular sandwich. This place is really good, and you can get a really good sandwich or wrap plus a drink for probably $7, which is not bad for an airport because it's really good food. This other place, the Tapas Bar, I haven't been to it. It's always busy, so it's probably good, but I looked at the prices once and it was like really expensive. I don't like spending a lot of money in airports. Another set of restrooms, male and female. And there's another Pineda Cobalin store. There's actually 4 Pineda Cobalin stores in this terminal. I've actually gotten stuff from all of them because sometimes if they don't have something I'm looking for, they'll call the other stores and they'll send me to another one to get what I'm looking for. Really beautiful scarves and stuff, but again, the wallets and the purses for women last forever. Harley Davidson. This is a funny Harley Davidson store because I was going to get a t-shirt as a gift for someone once, and it looked like an American t-shirt, and someone stamped Mexico on the bottom, like in a whole different ink color than the whole t-shirt was stamped. It was like they just grabbed a generic Harley Davidson t-shirt and stamped Mexico City on the bottom. I thought that was funny. I didn't end up getting it. More gates here. This is a way more open area, and there's a lot less shops. There'll still be a few shops on the left, but we're getting towards the end. Right here on the left, you'll see this is like Aeromexico Delta Help Center. They rarely help you. I mean, especially, it's funny because they'll be wearing Aeromexico outfits or uniforms, but then they'll put a Delta vest on top. And if you come and ask them something about a Delta flight, they'll pretend like they don't know anything. They're like, well, I'm Aeromexico, but they're wearing a Delta vest on top of their uniform, and it's just hilarious. Rarely do they help you. They always just tell you to look at the monitor. They never look anything up in the computer or anything like they do in the States. This is another high-end restaurant here. They also have stuff to go. It's not as good as Pizza Bar in my opinion, but I mean, if you want somewhere where you can actually sit down and enjoy your meal and have them bring it to you, then this is the place. Pizza Bar, they just give it to you and you go find a place to sit on your own and eat. Okay, let's keep going. Right here on the left, I think this is a Hudson. I'm not sure, but they got this one of the few places, these little like Hudson magazine places. You could actually buy Cuban cigars. If you're headed back to the States and you didn't get a chance to find any Cuban cigars while you were in Mexico, you can get some here. They're really expensive, but they're not really overpriced. They're just that expensive wherever you get them. So you can get one or two and maybe enjoy them with a friend or something. Was it a Hudson News? Yeah, it is a Hudson News. I wasn't wrong. But yeah, you can get cigars. They'll have them always sticking out in the front. And you can just get a couple if you want and just tell one of your buddies, hey, I got a Cuban cigar, or one of your gal friends or whoever. All right, let's head back to where you enter here. And okay, there's a restaurant. There's still people eating. And right now it's actually kind of empty, I'm going to be honest. Most of the time, this side of the terminal, there's a lot of people walking all the time. Right now it's pretty vacant, so we're actually lucky because I'm not getting trampled. There's the service area again. This poor lady, they're probably going to tell her to check the monitor here in a moment. All right. So we made it all the way to gate, I think, 74. And it started on 63, something like that. All right, there's more monitors there. There's our Harley Davidson store again. And we've already looked at all this, but this is a good chance for you guys to just get familiar with it. If it's your very first time visiting Mexico City, I highly suggest getting familiar with where the gates are, because like I said, those monitors are rarely up to date. I've had more than 2 or 3 occasions where they wouldn't put my flight on the monitor until it was literally about to board, like it had like 25, 30 minutes left. And if you're in the wrong spot of the airport, it can take you, almost 10 minutes to reach the other side unless you're running. If you're just walking, it can take a while. So it is kind of dangerous. And I've noticed it's mostly the domestic flights or the local flights within the nation that they'll do that. Every now and then it's an international flight, but the international flights are usually posted pretty up ahead of time, although they do gate changes a lot. But if you're flying like to small towns within Mexico or the south of Mexico and you're connecting here, those are the ones that usually never update until the last minute, because they usually all come out of gate 75. Here's our Sunglass Hut. There's another little like store. They got good books here, but they're all in Spanish. This place on the right, I don't know why it's closed. There's the body shop again. If you need, they do have travel size. So if you need any kind of moisturizer or body wash, shampoo, whatever, they do have travel size. If you were connecting in more flights before you get home and you want to have something, they will have the little 3-ounce travel size so you can get through security. All right. Okay, there's gate 75, 74, 63, 64. Okay, so we're almost on our way back. And there are screens on each side. There is screens almost on each side of each end of these little kiosk strips. Here's our Lacoste store again, and after it is going to be a souvenir shop. But the screens, like I said earlier, they're not usually updated for the domestic flights or the flights within the nation, but they are pretty updated for the foreign flights. So Farmacia Benavides is here. And the main thing about Farmacia Benavides is that they'll sell you name brands. There's a divers here on the right, by the way. But they'll sell you the name brand for any over-the-counter medication you want. But they also have generic ones to save you some money. So if you're like me and you don't like spending a lot of money at the airport, but you just need some quick aspirin or something for nausea or etc., they'll have it. And they'll also make sure to ask for the generic one, and they will have it. And it'll save you some money. And it's basically just the same. I always get generic in Mexico, and I've never noticed any difference. It might be a placebo effect, or it might be that it really works. But either way, I'm good with it. Now we're going to exit to where we turned right to go into this side of the terminal. We're not going to go all the way back to where we started, because after this I'm going to show you in our next video gate 75. It's on the right to here. We came in from what would be our left right now, and we're going to go on our next video to the right, and I'll show you gate 75. And I want to thank you guys for walking around the airport with me, and I hope this video helps you, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Bye.